Hello, everyone. Welcome to AVAIYA's Healthy Aging Curriculum. I am Ande Anderson. My partner, Ike Allen, and I are teachers, mentors, and the co-owners of AVAIYA University. AVAIYA is the creator of over 1,000 books, films, courses, teachings, and other supportive resources. Thank you so much for being here. Our fellow teacher, Dr. Robyn Benson, is here today to talk with you about how to unleash the power of a regenerative lifestyle, to look younger, feel sexier, and have more energy. Thank you so much for being here with us.
It's a pleasure. Yay.
So let's get started with I'd love to hear a little bit about your background, right? Why did you get into regenerative medicine?
Gosh, so 28 years of regenerative medicine, but really focusing on it in a whole new way to help people not only grow younger, but look and feel younger, to solve problems with joint pain and people who have like wrinkling in their face or sexual issues. Gosh, there's an epidemic of erectile dysfunction right now, and also women with pelvic pain and sexual issues. So I'm so passionate about it. But I got into medicine really early in life. I lost a brother when I was just 5 years old, which led me to a career day when I was 10 years old to spend a whole day with a medical doctor who took me to 2 nursing homes, which I thought was not, I had no idea like that was what I was going to do. I thought, this is a noble profession. I'm going to really get grooved out on what it's like to be a doctor. And what I found out was, going to these nursing homes, I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I am going to dedicate my entire life to helping people not get into a nursing time anytime sooner than they have to. And what I was most struck by is why there were so many young people there. And Dr. Rainsfield, my hero of the day, just led me to realize that so many people make decisions, like lifestyle decisions, what they're eating, what they're thinking. And even as a 10-year-old, I thought, what they're thinking? I said, what does that really mean? So anyway, I'm 54 now. I've been in this medicine for almost 3 full decades. And I'm just so passionate about helping people solve their most pressing health challenges, but also to know that there is a formula that we're going to discuss today about how you can live a regenerative lifestyle. And I just want to talk about what regenerative medicine is right off the bat. Like,
Right.
What is it? It's one of the fastest growing areas of medicine out there. So people think of stem cells, and that's their limited vision, but it's way, way more than that. It's really the reverse of aging and degenerative disease. It's a science of boosting, healing naturally in damaged tissues and in functioning endocrine and immune systems. It's being achieved with nutrition therapy, stem cells for sure, and oxidative medicine. So ozone in medicine is incredible. That's something I've been practicing for 20 years. So I get to restore healthy joints every single day in my practice. And I also get to add ozone to the scalp and to the face and into breast tissue to really help people restore health in their mitochondria. We know about the mitochondria, right? So if we really want to boost regenerative health in our bodies, we need to have healthy mitochondria. So it's good for health, hair growth, skin rejuvenation, and sexual function. And I use it often, regenerative medicine, in terms of platelet-rich plasma, which has become famous through not only racehorses, famous horses, I should say. What do I want to call those horses? The ones that are well, anyway, but it's incredible for athletes. It's become well known through many golfers and basketball players who want to get back to doing what they do really well as quickly as possible. So that's my short definition of regenerative medicine.
Got it. Awesome. So within that regenerative medicine, what are your top solutions for people to help them, right, age slower or grow younger or whatever you want to call it? Like, what are the best kind of anti-aging solutions?
Okay, so before going to the solutions, I'm going to just ask everyone that's listening right now to think about what your number one health challenge is. And then I want you also to think about your life challenge. What is it? Is it a relationship issue? Are you not fulfilled at work? So as we go on this whole idea, because I really want you all to to adopt this word in your life called regeneration. It's about the possibility of a second chance, a new beginning, a true transformation, because so many of us have been through epic times, especially in these last 3 years, right? And we want to have a new possible life. So think about these questions that I've asked you. So without a doubt, the most important thing is, I really feel strongly, is that people that have a passion, that they know their why for living, that really sets the stage for why you want to eat healthy, why you want to have an exercise program. So I just want to ask you all to really think about that. What is it that when you wake up in the morning that you are really excited about? So for me, 28 years, I have never missed a day of work because of being sick, ever. I travel a ton, but I am in charge of me, right? And I'm passionate about bringing the best me to my patients, to my staff, to my life, to my people, my family. So my why is to, when it comes to this regenerative medicine, I'm really passionate about helping, a million people turn degeneration into regeneration. So having that why is really important. And then I want to go right into food as medicine, because it is absolutely necessary. We can't regenerate well, even when I'm applying all these amazing therapies that I do with my patients. I'm asking them to consider living a regenerative lifestyle. So when it comes to food, we want to look at certainly foods that are not inflammatory. So we want to stay away from sugar and flour and anything that's processed, for that matter, because our bodies want what nature provides for us naturally. So when we think about the pharmacopoeia of wonderful plants that nature makes, we want to look at all the green vegetables and fruits. And we want to look at, when it comes to regenerative medicine, when we think about like celery, it is rich in water, but also rich in minerals. And it looks like literally bones. So it's going to be good for our bones. Think about walnuts. They look like the brain. We invite our patients to eat foods that are going to be good for our brains. Also, I can add so much to that list of brain foods, but berries are fantastic. So we look at blueberries and raspberries and strawberries. So really important to look at good fats. We're huge on introducing all of our patients to the fact that 50% of every cell in your body is composed of fats. So we want to consume avocado, and also coconut oil is really effective. So you can literally put it on your body externally. In fact, that is like one of my number one go-tos when it comes to cosmetics. I'd like people to throw away all the crap that they own and just look to nature for what they can put on their skin. So after you take a shower in the morning, put coconut oil all over your body. That's all I do. I have like a bottle of coconut oil in my shower. So that's the first thing that goes on my body after I dry myself. So food is really essential if you want to have that, not just inner glow, but that outer glow. And then exercise as medicine is really key. We're big on educating our patients on a high intensity interval training. So that can be walking, so have a 2-minute warm up, but then we ask you to walk for 30 seconds as fast as possible. Or in my case, I love to run. I'm a recovering marathon runner. I'm so grateful for all those years on the road, but I love to I'm out there for 10 minutes, 4 or 5 times a week. I get outside in Mother Nature, which is so nourishing. And then I push my body for 30 seconds as fast as I can go. And then I rest for 90 seconds. And then I go as fast as I can for 30 seconds and then rest for 90 seconds and do that 8 times. It's so simple, and pretty much just about anybody can do it. And even people, that are, find it difficult to move, we just say anyone can, unless you're in a wheelchair, right? You can move your body, and you will feel so much better in body, mind, and spirit to move your body. And no one can get away without exercise in today's world. So exercise is medicine. food is medicine, and looking at needing the necessity to detox, because we live in an increasingly toxic world, from the chemicals that we breathe and from even when we're eating good foods. I mean, there's always this in terms of regeneration, we're bringing in the goodness of life in terms of oxygen, in terms of minerals and vitamins, and we also need to detox the crapola in our body. So in terms of a regenerative lifestyle, many of us have a toxic overload of, let's say, yeast, or we have heavy metals. So it's really important that we are consuming this healthy diet that will help us detox some of this. And then we got to look at the things that we can consume that will help get rid of these heavy metals. I have a pharmacy literally of 30 different supplement companies. And then I get to offer these regenerative therapies like I was talking about earlier. Ozone in medicine is incredible to help detox all kinds of pathogens, from viruses to bacteria to fungal agents that are undermining our body's ability to thrive. So many of us, even, I mean, I treat so many teenagers. I have two myself, and it's incredible to see the amount of fungal overgrowth and gastrointestinal SIBO that we're finding in our youth. And these infections that don't get treated just continue to wreak havoc in our systems. And so it's really important in terms of a regenerative lifestyle to look at what is hanging out in our bodies. We also see a lot of people in this country that are dealing with giardia. Giardia is something you can touch a door in a bathroom. You can get it from it's waterborne. So just drinking a water has not been treated, or not treating good water for that matter. So that's a big one. I can go on and on with the solutions, and we can go in a deeper dive, very specifically what I do for joints and what I do for sexual rejuvenation, and what, for people that don't want to go under the knife, do not want to have surgery. So many of our patients fit into that category. They may not want to do any type of Botox. They want natural solutions. And that's all that we provide here at my center in Santa Fe, called Santa Fe Soul Center for Optimal Health.
Excellent. Yeah, I would love to. So I would love to dive deeper in those two. And I have two follow-up questions from what you've just said. So first of all, the coconut oil. I just this question is coming up in my mind, and I'm like, what about how do you not get the oil on your clothes after you've taken a shower and then you douse yourself in coconut oil? What do you do?
Oh, I have to be careful. So if I wear my yoga pants after I put coconut oil on, I definitely have to take a towel and kind of to take any of the excess off, just so it won't stain anything. But mostly you can get coconut oil off. That's a good question. So most of what I wear, I don't have to worry about that. But yes, that's a fantastic question. And if you give it a little 5 or 10 minutes, your body's going to absorb it all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. And then, so the next question was specifically the ozone therapy for detox. What is ozone therapy? How does that work?
Okay, so we do something called ultraviolet blood irradiation. So what that means is we take out blood and we put it into a bag of water, and then we add ozone to that sterile water. And it's pretty incredible what happens. So that blood is being treated with ozone. So it's like a mini, we hear about how we cleanse the kidneys, right? There are ways that we can purify our system. So this blood that's treated with ozone goes through this light system, and then it goes back into the body. So it's like a mini dialysis.
Okay.
And so what happens is this highly oxygenated blood goes into the body, and it helps to get rid of pathogens. It helps to oxygenate the system. It literally turns on the mitochondria. It helps with blood circulation in the body. It's fantastic for any type of cardiac issues. We mostly are helping our patients with Lyme disease. That we see a lot of Lyme disease, a lot of autoimmune conditions. There's a lot of cancer out there, right? We don't say we treat cancer, but we help to amplify the body to get oxygen flowing more freely and to get rid of those pathogenic influences that are undermining the immune system, so that all these things that are happening can literally be reversed. And so let's say a man comes in with prostate issues, prostate hypertrophy, prostate cancer. We will do this ultraviolet blood irradiation, and we don't just do one time. We're looking at doing about 10 sessions. We also do something called the 10 pass, which is becoming increasingly available at clinics across the world, because like what we're seeing in Asia right now, these scary infections, which are literally shutting down cities, right? People are being asked to stay at home, not to get in cars or buses or trains or planes for that matter, because these infections are killing people rapidly. So ozone is one of the least expensive possibilities out there, because very often we don't have an antibiotic. Western medicine doesn't have a solution to these infections that are happening. So we invite people that are living a regenerative lifestyle. They want to have their home pharmacy, right? You always want to have, one of my favorites for sure is oregano oil, without a doubt. When I think about my pharmacy, that is probably one of our top products that we have from Biotics Research, called ADP. That is really great because it's broad spectrum. It's good for viruses, bacteria, parasites. And something that we want to consider also is that you don't want to be susceptible, because not all people are going to be prone to these infections, right? It's going to be the ones that are not living healthy lifestyles. They're going to be the ones that already are have low-grade infections in their body. So we love to help our patients optimize their zinc levels, because I'd say 90% of every patient that walks in the door has low zinc. Also, magnesium. Magnesium is really important for over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body. So you want to optimize your zinc. There are 4 in particular: zinc, magnesium, vitamin C. We also do a vitamin C test. We do a P strip, and most of our patients are low in vitamin C too. So vitamin C is relatively inexpensive, and you can just buy in a powdered form or a tablet form. And we want you to consider taking at least 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C a day. And also vitamin D. Vitamin D is critically important, and it's crazy how many people we test that are well below the optimal levels. We want to get our patients above 50 certainly, but we want to get them in the 80s, 90s, and it can take some time. And also, it's good to know that if you're at the beginning signs of a sore throat, maybe body aches and chills, to take up to 50,000 IUs of vitamin D for up to 3 days. My good friend Norm Shealy, really the grandfather of complementary medicine, taught me this. And this is how I've kept my kids in school for many, many years. They're in college now, both of them. They have their vitamin D. I recommend that they take it daily. Vitamin A is also really important too. So there's just so many natural things that we need to be taking daily so we are not prone to these infections. But thankfully, we have ozone in medicine, and I use it for joints also. But getting back to the ultraviolet blood irradiation treatments that we offer here and the 10 pass, it's just really important that you all know that these therapies are around in most every major city, definitely a couple clinics, including mine in Santa Fe. But we are treating people with some serious infections, or people who've had, have had cancer and have had surgery and they're not healing. And it is fantastic. Or you get a random bug bite, or a brown recluse bite, or a black widow. I mean, this is what happens certainly in the Southwest. And there are wound clinics, and fortunately more of them are adding ozone because it is so effective.
Got it.
So there's, for the people that are more scientific oriented that are listening, O3 oxygen and an extra molecule. When it's put into the body or when you mix it with blood, it becomes oxygen. And then you have this single oxidant. You have the single oxygen atom that pairs with the body, so it becomes more water or becomes hydrogen peroxide. And that helps as an oxidant, right? So it gets rid of viruses and bacteria and parasites in the body. And the science behind it is crazy. So go to PubMed. Anybody who wants to know about ozone, certainly go to PubMed. There's tons of YouTube articles. I've been trained by some of the top ozone docs in the country, Dr. Schallenberger, to name one. There are several of them, and I'm just very grateful that I have, I just keep learning and have been using this for 20 years in my practice. Dr. Rohn is another one. I mean, they travel the world and have helped people with some of these epidemics, these viral epidemics that have hit areas of Africa in particular.
Got it. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. I was not aware of the massive benefits of that. So I appreciate you diving into that. So let's go back to the sexual rejuvenation. So for people watching right now who in the world of healthy aging are struggling in that area, like how do you help people?
Yeah, this is a big issue because as we age, men and women, the pelvic area degrades as well, right? It just loses its vitality. I'm going to speak mostly to women because it's the number one reason that women at some point end up in nursing homes is because they lose their bladder control. And this is an area of our life, just like we think about exercising our body, we need to consider this pelvic area. And a lot of us that have had 2 or 3 children could be more susceptible to this. But for various reasons, women and men lose their bladder control as they age. So one of the best regenerative therapies out there is PRP, also known as platelet-rich plasma. So what we do is, this even happens in 30-year-old women. Like I just treated a woman and gave her a PRP vaginal rejuvenation procedure because she had 3 babies close to each other and was losing bladder control. And she was like, I am 33 years old and I'm wearing a pad. And like, this sucks. I don't want to do this. So within, I swear to God, 3 days, she was back in action. She was so thrilled because she lost that vaginal tone. And even the Kegel exercises she was doing was not helping. So what I get to do is, with all my PRP treatments, is I take blood from my patients and we put it in an FDA approved centrifuge. It's about a 15-minute process to get this, I call it the golden elixir. And we get about 10 cc's of blood. And for what I do in terms of sexual rejuvenation for women is I put about 5 cc's of that intravaginally. I don't even need a speculum. I just go into that area. And I want to educate everyone listening that women have this G spot, this very active area that is proximal, that has this tissue proximal to it called the rugae, and that's where I inject this PRP, which is rich in growth factors, 7 in particular that are most well known. But what helps the body increase its own stem cells, it increases blood circulation, it increases new blood vessel growth, and it's fantastic for people, women that have any type of degeneration going on in that area or have had scar tissue. So I can customize it and personalize it. Like a woman friend from Tucson flew in yesterday to restore an issue. She's 51 years old. She has pain with sex all the time. I mean, it's just it's been devastating to her because of the amount of scar tissue. So I was able to identify where that scar tissue was and to inject some of this PRP. We also do it outside of the urethra and into the shaft of the clitoral area. And everyone's thinking, ouch, ouch, ouch.
Yeah, right.
And it's not. Oh my gosh. I mean, she didn't even win. She's like, I cannot believe how going to the dentist is more painful than this. So she felt a little pressure. Most people feel a little pressure. Sometimes, the clitoral area, there are 8,000 nerve endings. And I get to recite one of my favorite poems ever from the book called Pussy about our wonderful, beautiful yoni area. And anyway, it's just a blessing that this is available to people. And I'd say 80% get fantastic results. And now one of my heart song goes out to men, because it's an epidemic of erectile dysfunction. 30% of 30-year-olds, 50% of 50-year-olds, and as we
really,
yes,
that's crazy.
It's crazy, and it's because of this very toxic world in which we live in, and it's because that I feel very strongly, having raised two teenagers, this very connected world where we're just like glued to our technology all the time, and all the college students that are on their computers with their laptops on their laps, people don't realize how much that's degrading their sexual vitality. So men, also, I was going to say it, the epidemic of porn. I mean, it's devastating what happens, because it's changing your new neural path. It changes your neural pathways to the only way that you can have sexual pleasure and to have orgasms is through porn. So I'm just going to throw that right out there. So I get to work on the psychology of this too, because I have a whole room devoted to brain and body rejuvenation and regeneration. Yes, and it's very effective, but it has to be done every day, because neurogenesis is possible. Creating these new pathways does happen when we feed a new pathway. Okay, so in terms of the men, what I'm doing is a PRP procedure. It's known as the P shot, and we are injecting the same golden elixir into the penis into 5 different areas, which is kind of daunting to a lot of men, but they're like, oh my God, I can't believe I worried about this. It's a very easy procedure, and it's something that we couple with a shock wave therapy called the Gaines wave, and we get fantastic results for our men. But if they're going to get a good result, they're going to go home with, like, say, their penis pump. And I'm going to say we're about treating root cause. Regenerative lifestyle is a root cause possibility, right? We want you to go home, and we want you to be eating healthy foods and exercising. We want you to increase your natural nitric oxide, which is so important for an orgasm to happen. So it's awesome. I mean, regenerative medicine is super cool. I'm super passionate about it, and we get phenomenal results, especially for the people that are already proactive. They're like, whatever it takes, I'm going to get off the sugar. I'm going to reverse my diabetes, and it's possible, especially type 2 diabetes, of course, right? I'm going to get to the root of these infections in my body. So when I look at people's tongues, like a lot of these people come in with erectile dysfunction, or women that are coming in with their bladder issues or sexual issues, I look at their tongue and I'm like, oh my God, if you all should right now look in the mirror, or after this interview, look in the mirror. And if you have a coating on your tongue, you've got some type of pathogenic influence. Like, and you wake up in the morning with that, and it causes bad breath, and it's causing gas and bloating. It's not fun. So that has to be eliminated. We always have some healthy fungal possibility going on in our body, but we don't want to have it to where it's winning you over, and it's literally causing brain fog and causing lots of gastrointestinal issues, and literally affects circulation too. So very important.
Got it. Awesome. Thank you. So what about, let's segue into joints for a couple of minutes before we wind down. So what about, how does regenerative medicine help people with joint issues?
It's fantastic for joint issues. So a lot of people are going to very expensive clinics, and if you have the means, absolutely go for it. Stem cells, you can get them from autologous, from your own fat and from your bone marrow. But what we do here at Santa Fe Soul, we do platelet-rich plasma. So we inject that same golden elixir into hips and knees and necks wherever your pain is, we inject that platelet-rich plasma, and it's a little tender, it's a little sore. Yeah, those areas that we inject, but we have learned really great ways to where it's not so painful. And you got to know that you're on a journey from anywhere where from 4 to 12 weeks. And same thing with the sexual rejuvenation and the facial rejuvenation. We do the vampire facials here. But in terms of joints, we also, because I'm such a big ozone doc here in Santa Fe, we always add ozone to every PRP treatment that we do, which is fantastic because you're going to get that proliferative energy, you're getting that oxygenation. It is going to help literally clean out joints. But regenerative medicine for joints is excellent with PRP alone. I'd have to say that maybe 70% of every patient that comes in with a joint issue, a back, a shoulder, I love doing shoulders, I love doing knees. We will always start with prolozone before we go to the PRP. Prolozone is a way in which we inject a proliferative agent, which usually is dextrose, B12. We have something called Regenerative, which is peptides and amino acids. It's this wonderful concoction that we add initially. So we inject that first, followed by ozone gas. And you really want to work with somebody who does ozone that absolutely knows what they're doing, because the concentration of ozone is really critical here. So I inject the proliferative agent, and then I don't have to do 2 injections because I unscrew the syringe, and then I add a syringe of ozone right into the body. And what happens is quite miraculous. It helps reduce scar tissue. It helps with arthritic changes that are happening in the body. And immediately, when you have overstretched ligaments or tendons in the body, it helps to bring them back to their original nature. Plus, there's this whole thing going when you're creating some trauma into a traumatized area, you're also activating the brain to send all of its healing agents into that area. So prolozone is incredible. It is probably my number one love of what I do here, because it's the most miraculous thing I do. People walk in with pain, they walk out with pain, or they realize that 7 to 10 days there's a lot going on, where I've done that prolozone injection. And then if need, and sometimes it's just one time, but very often I might need to do a second round or a third round. And if I'm not getting the results that I would love to see, then I might add on a PRP. But what's cool is we've already created incredible scaffolding. So when we think about building a building, right, or we're putting bricks together, like that glue, it helps, it creates a foundation upon which we can add something like the PRP and get people back into action, like exercising, dancing, having sex, whatever. Those are the results that we see every single day. But even with prolozone, we're saying we want you to choose a healthy diet. We want you to be exercising. We want you to deal with those issues in your tissues and those traumas in your body that are undermining your health and your longevity possibilities.
Are there any last insights? Anything else you want to leave people with before we wrap up?
Oh my goodness. I think I really am so passionate about helping people think about what they're thinking. Think about your thinking, right? Like this area, right? Those 60,000 thoughts we have. Choose a mindfulness practice. Meditate every single day. Get a muse. I'm a big fan of the muse, and have a practice where you can really shut off all the noise in the world and remember who you are. Very, very important. Yeah.
Absolutely. Awesome.
There's so many quotes I'd love. But the one that comes to mind is a Walt Whitman one, which is relevant to everything that we've shared, but to sleep with the earth as much as possible, and to grow, literally to eat and sleep and to grow outdoors as much as possible. So consume wonderful foods from Mother Nature, and you will live a much better life, much better, healthier life.
I love it. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for doing
This was
this.
so
And
much fun, and
yeah,
it's just a joy to be speaking to all of you today and sharing my 30 years of wisdom and passion. Definitely
clearly,
passion.
yes. Awesome. Thank you for doing this, Robyn. And thank you everyone who's watching, who's listening right now for tuning in. And we will see you again soon. Take care, everybody.
Awesome.